What is up, everybody? So good to have you. Thanks for being here with us. Man, I'm super excited about what we have planned for today. So, we got a lot of folks who are already here, already hanging out with us. And so, I wonder rather than saying where you're from in whatever part of the world, tell me what your go-to breakfast is, because my go-to breakfast has just recently changed because I found out I have a gluten intolerance. And so I can no longer eat everything that I was eating for breakfast. So it's legitimately tater tots, queso, and bacon. Not really a healthy start to a day, but hey, it's better than the gluten that I was eating and apparently inflaming my entire body all day long. So, well, if you're wondering what's happening, if you just showed up here randomly, today we are talking about creating a seamless client workflow. And I'm talking with someone who is an expert in this, Miss Brittany from HoneyBook. Brittany, how are you? Thanks for joining.
I'm good. I am so excited to join, and sorry to hear about your gluten intolerance. You've joined the pack because I'm also gluten intolerant.
Uh, it was a sad day because bread was like
Yeah.
such a huge part of my life. And so all of a sudden, I'm like, well, I can't eat like 75% of everything that I was eating. But thankfully, I milk and cheese and whey is still on the list. So I'm pretty excited about that. So, but we've got some folks saying cat, Greek yogurt and berries. Love that. Sourdough toast with roasted tomatoes and cracked black. Tilt Bright, listen, you have a fancy breakfast, okay? You are better than all of us here. So thank you for showing up. Northfolk says, does coffee count? Yes, it counts. It is a part of a balanced breakfast. I have a friend who recently found out he was allergic to caffeine or to coffee, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how I would live. I don't know what I would do. But Brittany, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you at? Where are you calling from?
So I am based in Detroit. I think I might be the only HoneyBook employee based in Detroit because everybody's in the West Coast and East Coast. Yeah, I'm a UX program manager here at HoneyBook, and I'm really excited to dig into talking about building a client experience today.
Yeah, as I've had my own business and dealt with other people who have had businesses, like the thing that I have found again and again and again is that if you want to really demand higher prices with clients, it has a lot less to do with the quality of your output, right? Like the quality of the thing that you're handing off. And it has a lot more to do with your client process. And I know this because I've seen some of the behind the scenes stuff of like where I was bidding on a project alongside another person who was bidding on a project, and they were bidding much higher. And they the client that ended up going with me gave me some of their like pitch decks, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like they've got their stuff together, and I am not nearly this professional. So that's why they can charge this much, and I'm still down here. And so I'm excited because I think it can be something that can really help someone's business.
Absolutely. Yeah. I did the same in my own business. I ran it for 8 years, and I recognized that I was making it really hard for people to pay me. And at some point I was like, I have to make it easier. So yes.
Well, I am excited to hear everything you've got. And so I say we just dive in because you're going to talk a lot more about your own experience and everything that you've done in your career. And so it's going to be fun. It's going to be a good day.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
Awesome.
Amazing. Well, thank you again for having me. Today, I want to dig into building a seamless client experience. So, some housekeeping before we really dig in is that the recording will be sent and posted later. And if you're in the chat, interact, share reactions, and ask any questions, because at the end we will have some time for a Q&A. For those that don't know me, I'm Brittany Barnhart, the UX program manager here at HoneyBook, where I lead template partner program and drive template initiatives across the entire organization. So before joining HoneyBook 2 years ago, like I mentioned earlier, I ran my own brand and web design studio here in Detroit for over 8 years. As a business owner, I used HoneyBook as myself to start to streamline my workflows and start to create a seamless client experience after spending a painful amount of time of years cobbling together a process that took hours to onboard a client, which we'll kind of get to later. So now at HoneyBook, I'm really thrilled to be able to impact and empower owners, business owners on an even larger scale and help you create those exceptional client experiences for your clients. So, with our time today, really the ultimate goal is that you'll leave here with a high level understanding of how you can start to build that client experience with Showit and HoneyBook together. So, with that in mind, we're going to walk through the HoneyBook template gallery, dive into how you can start to build that end to end client experience that keeps clients coming back. And then at the end, we'll have dedicated time to ask questions and share any insight that you're curious about. So, for those that don't know, HoneyBook is the leading client relationship platform for independent businesses. It powers billions of client interactions through tools for managing leads, communicating with clients, and organizing and booking jobs and handling finances. So, this includes tools for things that we're seeing on the screen here, like lead capturing, scheduling, and calendar needs, so you can ditch the email ping pong back and forth. All of your client documentation needs, so super customizable and dynamic files for service selection, invoicing, payments, and contracts with e-signatures. And then even automations, AI, and templates to help you move super fast and create really streamlined workflows. So we're really passionate about helping independents create exceptional client experiences. So much so that we recently launched our template gallery that includes a variety of customizable templates like contracts, proposals, invoicing, onboarding guides, questionnaires, you name it. If it's a file you need in your business, we likely have a template for it. So with our template gallery, there's a variety of free and premium customizable templates that can help a new business owner get started by sending out your contract, invoice, or an experienced independent who's looking to invest in their template that will level up their existing workflows from an industry expert. With the launch of the template gallery, HoneyBook and Showit have partnered together to create a suite of free and premium templates that match existing website designs. So by creating the series of HoneyBook templates that match your website, you can start to create that end-to-end cohesive and professional client experience. So the example that we're looking at now is the Showit Cartera template and the combined Showit Cartera HoneyBook templates. So we all know your website is likely one of the first points of contact that you have with leads, and it serves as a digital storefront to build credibility and trust in your business. When your website looks good, you feel way more confident in your business. To keep that credibility, it's really important to have client-facing templates like a contract, invoice, or proposal also look as good as your website. So when your front-end website and your back-end templates are cohesive, you're able to feel a bit more confident in the experience that you're providing with your clients. And like we had mentioned earlier, increase those prices. So to help independents like yourself start to actually build this experience, one of the two Showit templates that we used to create those HoneyBook templates was Cartera. So each asset that you see on this website was implemented into the HoneyBook templates that you see on the right to ensure brand alignment and consistency throughout the entire experience. The fonts, photos, colors, videos, and overall brand was implemented into a suite of 4 templates that you can find on our template gallery. So the templates that you actually see here are a service guide that you can send to new leads that outline your starting prices for services and provide a way for clients to actually book a call with you and get to know you a little bit more. And a proposal on the far right that includes a contract with e-signature, invoice, and payment so you can get booked all in one file. So to show the complete suite together, here are all 4 templates that create that seamless end-to-end client experience. Again, we have the service guide, the proposal, and the 2 other templates is an onboarding guide. So this includes a project schedule and a questionnaire to really get crucial information from your new client and kick off the project successfully. And then finally, a design approval form to send your clients when you're ready to proof your work, a mood board, included with a contract so you can obtain official sign-off before moving forward. So now that we have an idea of how this experience could actually look like for your clients, from your website design to your HoneyBook templates, let's dive into actually how you can start to build it on your own. So, right now, depending on where you're at in your business, you might be using a variety of softwares for one specific purpose when you book a client. So, all of these softwares work together to kind of create a Frankenstein process that might require you to send a contract to one platform, send an email to a client about the contract being sent from that platform, creating an invoice in another one, sending an email about that invoice being sent, and then sending questionnaires in another platform. And to be completely honest with you, this was my exact process, as painful as it is to say, when I ran my own business. It would take me 3 hours to onboard a client. And over time, I realized there had to be a better way. And it's important to know that this is a common struggle for independent business owners. They spend a lot of time on admin work, and it makes it a barrier to actually spending the time that on the work you want to be doing, the whole reason why you started your business in the first place. So, over time, you might start to realize that this type of process, if you experience this as well, is requiring a lot of your valuable time and making that process for your clients a little bit more complicated than it needs to be. So, this is where we start to evaluate how you can build or improve your client experience. So, to kind of refresh your memory or maybe introduce you to this, depending on where you're at, there are 5 stages of the client experience that your clients will go through every time they work with you. So, let's dive into each phase of the client process and the types of templates that can improve that experience. So, the first step is capturing new business. So, this is when you're applying to inquiries or bringing in new clients that are interested in your services. The types of templates that are most often used in this phase to level up that workflow are inquiry forms that ask details about who this person is, their budget, things like that, lead capture forms, service guides, and more. After you capture that new business, you start to qualify those leads. And so this is when you align with that lead to ensure that you're both aligned on availability, scope, and personal fit. It's just as important for you to decide whether or not you're a good fit for them, just as it is for your client. So, to better qualify leads, independents will commonly use things like a service guide that outlines your expertise, how you work, your starting rate for your services, potentially an intake questionnaire so you can learn even more about that particular lead, or a lead follow-up survey. So if a lead happens to ghost you, or maybe they go with somebody else, sending them a follow-up survey to kind of understand what happened. The next stage. So after you've qualified the lead, you've met with them, you're ready to actually book the client. This is where you make it official by sending over a proposal, contract, or invoice, or however you like to make it official with your clients. From there, it's starting to manage projects. So this is where you're organizing client communications, scheduling meetings, keeping track of deliverables. So to manage expectations with a new client, templates are helpful to implement. And the types of templates you most often use here are things like onboarding guides that outline working hours, communication styles, maybe a design approval so that you can get official sign off on your designs or photography, and client questionnaires so you can onboard the clients and really understand their goals, their brand, and what they want to get out of the work with you. And the final stage, and one of the most important ones, is maintain relationships. So we all know that it's a lot easier to rebook an existing client than it is to get a new client. So to help you maintain those relationships, this is where you can start to request feedback, book new projects, by using templates that are most helpful, like feedback forms, asking the client how the project went, testimonial requests so they can put those on your website, or an offboarding guide where you compile all the resources and provide those to clients. So all these templates here listed can make it easier for you to start to create that end-to-end client experience that will make clients want to come back time and time again. So, investing in a client experience can impact more than just how your clients interact with your business. It also helps you book clients faster. It makes it easy for clients to easily book you all in one place. So, instead of going between multiple different platforms, they have one space to go to. It helps you make more money. So, whether it's from booking more clients because you have the capacity for more, or maybe you feel so good about your process that you're raising your prices to reflect the quality of your work. It helps you get your time back. So it reduces all the admin time and the back and forth emails and the rescheduling and cancellations and things like that. It helps you scale without friction. So the more you grow, the more admin there always seems to be, and templates can help you reduce that time. And then also improving your peace of mind. So hopefully reducing those 9 p.m. or maybe 4 a.m. thoughts of, oh my God, did I send that email? So from our premium templates, our template partner Norfolk, who I believe is in the chat, created a bundle of templates to match their Sunday Showit template. So the HoneyBook templates that you see here are on the right. One, a service guide that showcases your expertise, an overview of your services, and important information that every single lead should know about how you like to work. And then finally, on the far right is a proposal. So this includes a proposed service. It has add-on options so you can upsell your clients, a contract, invoice, and payment so you can get booked all in one file. To complete the suite, Norfolk created 4 total templates to match the Sunday Showit template. So again, we have the service guide and proposal. Then we have an onboarding guide. So this includes 6 pages of questions to learn about your client's project goals, brand preferences, target audience, and design inspirations, and design approval to proof your mood boards or designs to your clients, obtain that feedback, and keep the project moving forward. If you're curious to find these, all of them can be found on honeybook.com/templates. So all the templates that we've gone over so far and showcased are a great representation of how you can build a seamless client experience, ensuring that every new lead that comes in through your website, they have the same experience when they connect with you one-on-one. So all these templates were created and making it easier than ever to implement a workflow into your business and manage your clients more effectively. So diving into the first 3 stages for time, we'll focus on diving into how you can start to level up your lead capture process, how you qualify your leads, and how you book your clients. So kicking off with lead capture, this is all about obtaining information from a new inquiry. If you're wondering how you can improve your lead capture process, I would consider evaluating your existing processes to see where you spend most of your time. Is it responding to emails? Is it managing DMs? Is it scheduling calls? Depending on where you spend most of your time right now, there are a few ways that you can start to improve that lead capture process. So the first one being, you can create a lead form and include questions about their budget range, their timeline, why they want to work with you specifically compared to maybe your competitors, and their goals and why they decide to work with you at this point in time. Second idea is that you can include a scheduling link to connect with them one-on-one for discovery calls. So if you're somebody that likes to remove the email and automatically meet somebody on a call, it's easy to include that scheduling link so that they can select the time that works best for you based on your works best for them based on your availability. And then lastly, if you want someone to book your services automatically without talking to them, at least formally in email, maybe you've had some Instagram chats with them, you can create a lead form that allows leads to select the service that they want and pay for it all in one go, reducing your admin time and the back and forth it requires to book a client. So on HoneyBook, you can do all these with lead forms, which are customizable files that you can connect to your website with a link or embed on any page that you'd like. You can customize them to work with your business depending on how you like to capture your leads, and you can distribute them anywhere. So again, on your website, maybe you hyperlink it in your email signature for easy access. Add it to your link in bio on your social media platforms, and more. So digging into qualifying leads. So this is all about, do I want to work with this person? Are they a good fit for my services? Based on your experience over time, you may already know what makes a good client to work with. During this phase, it's important to ask questions like, what is my booking rate? What are common questions that new leads ask me? Why do certain clients decide to not book my services? All of these questions can help you start to determine how to improve your process and how you qualify leads better. For example, if a lead reaches out to you and asks, what results have you been able to achieve with previous clients? This might be a good indicator to start to implement more testimonials in your service guides that you provide to clients, or maybe you add more more testimonials throughout your website. Or if leads are asking you questions like, what's your process like when you're working with clients? This is valuable insight that you can implement into any follow-up emails. Maybe you dedicate a page of it in your service guide, outlining the rough process of how you work with clients, and include that information on your website. So, while each entrepreneur has their own unique way of qualifying their leads, there are a variety of ways that HoneyBook tools can help you do so. So, showcased on the right, I want to highlight one of our template partners, Ashley Ferreira, that created a matching suite of HoneyBook templates to match her heritage Showit template. So, this pricing guide that we're looking at now includes sections to highlight your business, awards and recognition that you received in the industry, services and their starting prices, testimonials from previous clients, and a scheduler so you can actually connect with the lead all one on one. So all the content that Ashley wrote for this template and the type of sections that she included help any new business owner or established business owner level up their process by providing this information up front and setting expectations with new leads. So, other ways that you can start to qualify your leads, maybe a little bit more depending on where you're at in your business. Number one, maybe consider automating sending a service or pricing guide. So, no, new leads are welcomed into your business. This is often a really great way to set the tone for what they can expect when working with you, the type of business you are, and your rates. If you want to price them or showcase them at a starting rate, just showcase your services overall, or include explicit prices. It's however you like to customize that process. Utilize our AI composer. So, with each new inquiry, you can utilize HoneyBook's AI composer to help you generate a response based on inquiry details in your information. And lastly, another idea is sending them an email with your scheduler provided so they can actually schedule a time to connect with you, making it easy to get a new lead on the call, have your sales call or discovery call, however that process works best for your business. And it's easy by setting up an automation to send to that client, send an email to that client automatically. So, however you like to qualify your leads, there are a lot of ways that you can start to improve your booking rate. And it all starts with those questions of why did this client decide to not move forward with me? What are common questions that I'm getting during this process? And taking that and implementing that into your workflow. So, diving into booking clients. So, this is when the client is ready to make things official. And first of all, amazing. Congratulations. This is always one of the most exciting parts of being an independent business owner where a new lead says, yes, I'm ready to move forward. So, take the time to celebrate that win. But in evaluating that process, when you're ready to kind of come back down from the excitement, it's important to identify how you can improve by considering asking questions like, how many emails am I sending during the booking process? Is it maybe a little overwhelming for my client? Where do clients tend to get stuck or maybe get lost? Are there common questions that they have? Are there steps that clients tend to forget throughout the process or common questions that they're coming back to me during that booking process? Again, as I mentioned earlier, when I was running my own business, I recognized in myself that I was making it so hard for clients to actually book and pay me. And I started to evaluate my process with questions like this because I recognized that people were not paying their invoice or not signing the contract at the actual end. And so evaluating your process is really helpful to understand where to improve. So these all can help you determine what may be making it difficult for your own clients to book your services. So depending on where you're at, here are a couple powerful ways that you can level up your process to book clients. One, sending a proposal to your client that includes a service selection, a contract with e-signature, an invoice and payment so your client only has one file to go through. Consider adding add-on services and proposals or a booking file so that you can upsell your clients and they can customize their experience. And lastly, after they complete the proposal, maybe consider sending them a file or an email outlining the next steps for your client so they know what to expect every step of the way after they book your services. So, what we've covered today may seem like a lot. I completely understand that building out a client experience can seem very overwhelming because there are so many different components to it. Between managing your current clients, existing admin work, and just life as a whole, dedicating time to improving your experience can feel really overwhelming. So if you're not sure where to get started or what would actually work best for you, I definitely recommend checking out our template gallery, again at honeybook.com/templates. We have templates for each use case that we actually discussed today, in addition to templates focused on functionality or industry. So throughout the template gallery, you can find free templates that will help get you started. Maybe you can use it as inspiration of the type of content to include and types of templates, the design styles. Maybe it's really close to your existing branding. Or you can get started with a premium template from a Showit design partner that matches your existing Showit website. So if you want to browse all the complimentary Showit templates that we created and all the premium templates, you can browse the dedicated Showit page. So however you choose to get started, it's really important to remember that one, creating an end-to-end client experience can help you book clients faster and make more money. If your website and your templates are cohesive and branded, this will absolutely wow and impress your clients and keep them coming back. Two, spending time on improving your client experience can feel really overwhelming. There are so many components when you're already managing the existing day-to-day life and admin tasks. So I recommend choosing one stage that you know eats up the most of your time and prioritize by improving that first. Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither will your client experience be. And then lastly, HoneyBook templates are fully customizable. So you can get started with our free options to help you get started, or the premium templates that maybe align with your branding or industry a little bit more. Or if you're feeling pretty savvy, if you want to get started and build your own with all the website assets that you already have in hand, you can also do that as well. So if you're ready to get started, HoneyBook has a special offer just for this audience where you can buy 1 month and get one month free after your free 7-day trial. And Showit also has their own unique offer for this audience where you get a 14-day free trial and 1 month free. And with that, I'm curious what questions that the audience has.
Yes, thank you so much, Brittany. Just so much information. You're a wealth of knowledge, and I know that a lot of people have some really good questions already in the chat. And I'm actually going to add the Showit URL. So Showit is also doing a sister offer, if you will, for folks who are wanting to sign up. If you sign up with the link that I sent, you get a 14-day trial and then 1 month free. So a little bit of a double bonus for folks who are signing up for both Showit and HoneyBook. And so we're going to go into a time of just some Q&A. But I wonder if you and I can just kind of chat, because there's just so many things that came to mind as you were talking. And like you said, this is a long process, and you didn't start from scratch and go to like this amazing system that you kind of outlined. So what were your first steps when you were just getting started with your own business? Like, what would you say is the most important thing for somebody who's like, I don't have any of this in place. What should I do first?
I think for me, when I was running my own business, the thing that I recognized and what I think bothered me the most was the time that when a lead comes in to actually booking me. And so I was finding that like it was taking a little longer than it should have, and like there was a ton of back and forth questions. And so I started to notice that like this was happening on a pretty regular basis, and I was like, this is hurting my ability to actually book clients. And so while realizing that, I was like, I need to prioritize this like qualifying lead stage. I need to understand and ask better questions at the forefront so they understand what they're getting and be a little bit better about setting expectations. So I think for my own business, I really recognized that I was making it harder for clients to book me. And I just started to implement that or like focus on a specific stage that was really bothering me. So it is really overwhelming, but I think I did it like one step at a time when things would kind of present themselves. Like I think also as a business owner, you have so many things going on all the time between bookkeeping, managing maybe assistant you have, updating your website, actually doing the work. Like there's so many hats that independents wear. And so kind of taking it one step at a time when things arise was kind of the approach that I took when I was running my own business.
Yeah, and I love how you mentioned like there's something like 85% of businesses will hire the first person that responds to them.
Mhm.
And that is so true. On the other side of the table with like contractors that I've hired myself, like it's actually not easy to find somebody who just communicates well, like
Yes.
who just responds when you email them or ask them a question and doesn't take a week to get back to you. And so when you're slow or when you're in your early stages, that's easy. But when things get busy or life gets hectic, or God forbid your business starts to grow and you've got more than you can handle, right? Like keeping up with all of that information and all that communication becomes a real daunting task. And having
Mhm.
these systems and processes using platforms like HoneyBook are really going to help you kind of streamline all that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's the thing too, is that an approach that I took in my business was that like I can't necessarily like templatize everything. You know, each client is unique. They have unique needs. I've customized the service kind of based on what they're asking for. But in evaluating my process, I realized that if I could create templates that help me get like 80% of the way there, so that like when a client comes in and they're ready to book, I can take 5-10 minutes to customize the template that I created or an email and make it so much easier to respond faster. Because I knew that like the way that I'd set up my business was that I had these packages to kind of base off like what I was proposing. And so I was like, if I create all these templates, I can uh, get myself 80% there, and it'll only take 20% of the time to actually do the work and respond to the client. And it just makes it a little bit easier. So I think templates are always going to be customized depending on like what client that you're working with. You're always improving them based on like what you learn. So it's kind of like a never ending process, to be honest. It's like your website. You're always adjusting it and updating it based on feedback that you get. It's the same with the templates that you're sending your clients. You're always going to be updating and tweaks and evaluating that process to make it that much easier.
Yeah, I've been building websites for people for over a decade, and I'm always surprised. Like every single project, I'm like, "Oh, that's a new thing I need to include in my workflow," because something happens where like a client will have a real unique situation or like an unforeseen edge case of like something that would happen that I didn't even realize or see coming. And like, oh, I would have never known that. But now that I've experienced this, now I can go back, adjust my workflow, adjust my templates. And the next time
Mhm.
that this comes up, it's not going to be as much of, you know, a brush fire where I've got to make sure everything's all taken care of. So
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people talk about the AI component that you guys have, even how some people are like abandoning all the other work that they've done with creating templates and stuff because the AI component is so good. So talk a little bit about
Mhm.
that. What does it do and how does it help?
Yeah, so we have an AI tool that allows you to respond to leads faster. And so, like you had said earlier, like 86% of businesses or 86% of clients book the business that responds first. And so we launched a AI composer that allows you to respond to leads faster. And so it'll take existing emails and information about your business that you've uploaded into your HoneyBook account and details that are provided from the client and create a custom response to that business or to that intake. And we'll prompt you of here's your email. Do you want to edit it? And then you can send it. And so it's just a really easy way to automate sending a response to new leads and also making it easier for you because it replicates your tone of voice. So it's not like it sounds like a robot or anything. It's very customized to how you generally respond to clients and it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, Alicia asked in the chat, is there a way to have all of this set up for you? Because she's been using her CRM for 9 years now, and the fatigue of like learning a new platform is very real. And I get that.
Mhm.
And I know you guys have partners like we have with our
Mhm.
design partners that have been vetted and they go through a process. And so this would be a great scenario for someone like Alicia who's potentially wanting to switch, but is kind of overwhelmed with getting it all first set up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we have HoneyBook pros that are qualified and have been vetted by like our teams and offer HoneyBook services. So you can check out our HoneyBook pros if you want that like one-on-one support from a professional who really knows the ins and outs of HoneyBook really well. Or there's an option if you want to be a little bit more savvy and kind of take it on your own. There's also our white glove option where you can upload your files and we'll transfer them into HoneyBook for you.
Yeah, that's awesome because I know like sometimes that initial setup is just the biggest thing. And I've
Yeah.
seen this myself where it's like, okay, I'm going to grow up a little bit in my business. I'm going to create some templates, I'm going to create some structure. But then you start sitting down and working on it and like this is taking me longer than if I were just to do the scratch from scratch every
Mhm.
single time, so it's that initial phase that is just a little bit of a push to kind of get it to the point where, okay, now it's just copy and paste, or it's a system where
Mhm.
I start a workflow and it just kind of goes from there. Another person had asked, what is the difference between this and just setting up like a sequence in your email service provider? And I'll kind of let you speak to that because I know HoneyBook does quite a bit more than just that.
Yeah. So the way that I like tend to look at setting up an email sequence uh, and using HoneyBook is, in my opinion, like an email sequence is best used to warm up leads. People who come to your email list because they know who you are, they sign up, they want to get to know you more as a person before they're ready to take the step to actually book your services. So I think that like your email provider or like how you're structuring your email marketing is kind of the step before HoneyBook. And so I think it could be very complementary in terms of like for example, when I was running my own business, I implemented a sequence for leads that were pretty warm, and would also include lead forms in those emails so that if somebody read an email and they're like, oh, I'm ready to actually book services, they would be taken to HoneyBook to choose their services and then pay for them outright. And so emails usually come first, that sequence, and then HoneyBook can actually support that client relationship once they're ready to book your services and work with you directly.
Yeah, and you know, everybody's probably familiar with like the onboarding process and the workflow process. You
Mhm.
oftentimes have to have like 7, 8, 9, 10 different like subscriptions to softwares, So
Mhm.
for instance, before I started using HoneyBook, it was, I had to have FreshBooks to take payments. I had to have, like a contract signing platform. I had to use my email service provider. I had to put all of my email templates in a Word doc to be able to copy and paste. Then I had a Google Sheet that was like tracking along the process to see where everybody was at in their project journey. And so with HoneyBook, it just kind of it brings all of those things under one roof so that you're not having to, number one, pay for so many different things to just keep it running, but then also think like, okay, I've looked at Google Sheets, they're at this point, and then I sent them this email, and then I requested that invoice, and then I followed up, and then I sent them a revision, like all that stuff like can
Mhm.
just be handled with HoneyBook, which makes it, just absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
So, talk a little bit more about templates. Some folks are asking, is there a way to build a template from scratch? And how does this integrate within Showit itself?
Yeah. So in terms of integrating with Showit, the best way to do that is going to be to utilize lead forms. So lead forms are customizable files that you can add questionnaires, schedulers, services, and really however you want to actually capture those leads. And so when you build out that lead form, there are a couple options in terms of how you can actually implement it into your Showit website. You can either use it as a link, maybe in your navigation, so people are directed to that lead form as its own page, or if you want to embed a lead form, you can also generate code and implement that into your Showit website. And so from there, sorry, can you remind me of the second part of that question?
Sorry, yeah, the templates. How are templates like? How does that work? Can you create it from scratch? And then, I know we sent everybody a link to the Show It template gallery on HoneyBook. So, are there other templates out there for different types of users?
Yes. So on HoneyBook, if you want to go the route where you're building a template from scratch, say you have all the content already written, you've got your branding, like all the assets that you're ready to implement into a template, you can absolutely start from scratch. So when you're in HoneyBook, you'll just create a custom file and then go from there. If you are somebody that learns best from kind of seeing how other layouts are created and how like the type of content that's included in templates, I would check out our template gallery because there are a variety of different templates for different use cases and also different industries. So you can type in whatever your industry is and try to find the template that best aligns with your process to kind of get that inspiration of like content that is best found in those templates, the layout that maybe you can implement that into your own templates. Or if you're somebody that like doesn't necessarily know where to get started and like you don't want to spend time building it or you don't want to spend time editing it, because again, it can be time consuming. The other option is checking out like the paid templates. So we have a group of 15 design partners who support a variety of different industries who all submit templates on a quarterly basis. And they're essentially complete workflows. So when you purchase, let's say, a service guide, it includes a complete workflow and actual written content for you. So you can go in, maybe adjust tone of voice a little bit, add in your services, and then you can actually implement that with any client projects that you have going on. So there's a lot of ways to kind of get started with templates in HoneyBook. It really just kind of depends on where you're at in your business, how much control you like to have over the design, and what time you want to spend on creating those templates.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And my encouragement would be to like as you log into any type of new platform, and this is true for every single SaaS platform that I've ever worked with or software as a service platform, it takes a little bit of time to kind of get familiar with everything. And so that I know that you guys have a really great like educational resource as well for folks who are wanting to learn. Where would they find that?
Yeah, so when you start your trial or if you log in, we have a HoneyBook Academy where we have a lot of really great self-paced courses that you can go through to learn about different aspects of HoneyBook. We also have a really thorough documentation like help center. So if you have questions about like the functionality of like how each feature works, that's there for you. And to also plug our community. So we have a really active community where our HoneyBook pros are most often answering questions, providing feedback, and really ingrained in like supporting the HoneyBook community and answering any questions that you have about how to use this feature or how to implement this or like the best way to streamline whatever you're working on. So there's a lot of resources when you get into HoneyBook to be able to kind of start to understand and implement that into your business.
Yeah, so I just love to pitch it to the folks who are watching. Where are you at in your workflow journey? Are you just getting started, like you don't really have a templatized workflow, or are you kind of starting to begin to do some of this stuff, or are you in the pro level? Because I'm sure we've got a lot of folks who are kind of all over the place who, they this is the first time they're hearing about qualifying a lead. And then we've got folks who are like, man, I've got my system all dialed in, and so I'm just making minor tweaks along the way as this is going. But we just got a question from Doreen. Did I hear that clients can submit feedbacks on designs directly within one of these templates?
Absolutely. So we have a design approval contract. So depending on how you like to kind of finalize that sign off from a client, you can also include a contract. But also we have a variety of like design approval templates where you can upload any images that you want to approve and get feedback on, include some questions, and really kind of customize it based on what feedback you want from your client. So that's absolutely possible in the HoneyBook templates.
Yeah, and I love what Autumn said. She said, I want to work smarter, not harder. I remember when it first dawned on me that like the things that I were doing over and over again could be done much more efficiently and much easier, right? Like I
Mhm.
didn't have to do it from scratch every single time. And also when you're thinking about like not just a one person show, but scaling your business to the point where you've got maybe another person working for you or multiple people working for you, like you can't just let all of that sit inside of your brain, right? It has
Right.
to be put down in some type of process, a standard operating procedure. And so my encouragement is just to pick one thing from what Brittany has talked about today that really resonates with you. So whether it's that lead capture where you've got a single source of truth for people who are interested in hiring you, to like go and sign up and fill out a form. So you're not going like, oh, hey, what was that DM where somebody sent me? And what about that email? And then I got a tweet. I remember I have a friend who runs a hair salon, and she's also my hairstylist. And so she was cutting my hair and she's like, hey, I want to chat with you about building a website. I was like, yeah. Just reach out to me and we'll figure something out. And then I was looking in my Instagram DMs in the request category, which like I never look at. I almost always look at primary. And then like 3 years ago, she was like, hey, I wanted to follow up on building me a website. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I missed this. And I was getting a haircut with her and I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like I'm not good at building out these systems. And so it was like a pretty big like awakening of like, man, there's got to be a better way than doing this. So anyways, we've got Beth who's asking, is there a list of designers who have the HoneyBook templates? And I know that there's the Showit templates that we linked to a little bit earlier, and I can pop that in the chat as well. But I know Sam and Rachel from Northfolk have some, Ashley Ferrara have some, who are also Showit design partners. Are there other people who might have some HoneyBook templates but don't necessarily have them in the HoneyBook shop?
Oh, that's a great question. So, HoneyBook members that like have templates in the shop. Additional one is Carrie Denny of Ace and Whim. We also have Anne Marie from Love and Deer, and so all of the partners who sell on the HoneyBook template gallery are verified partners, and they go through a process to be able to actually sell on the gallery. From there, if you're kind of looking for other types of templates on HoneyBook that maybe aren't on our gallery, that would be kind of searching on your own terms. So I recommend checking out the partners that we do have in our gallery because all the designs have been vetted. They include all the content written for you. So that would be probably a good place to start, is checking out our partner page.
And what about designers who are potentially interested in becoming a HoneyBook design partner? What does that process look like? Are you guys taking on new design partners?
Yeah, so right now you can submit applications. And so what that process entails is that when you submit an application, which is linked in our template gallery on the template partner page, you'll kind of provide templates that you currently sell and maybe any HoneyBook templates that you might currently be selling. It's not a requirement, but if you are selling them, you can also provide them as context as to like the type of work that you provide. From there, we go through applications and we'll reach out to you when we're ready to onboard you if you've been accepted. And from there, I always have a strategy call with all of our partners to kind of understand what do they want to work on, what templates should they create that are like best or most needed. And then from there, they create the templates and start selling them. So it's a pretty like simple process overall, but if anybody's interested in applying, you can go to the partner page and submit your application.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I want to remind everybody about the special offers that we are giving away today. We've got our free month of Showit, and then there's also a free month of HoneyBook along with some trials that go along to that. And I'm going to actually pop those in the chat again. But any last parting words of wisdom as we're kind of wrapping up here, Brittany?
I think the most valuable thing that I like kept in mind in my business was like the easier I make it for my clients to work with me, the more likely they are to come back. And it's a lot easier to maintain those relationships and keep booking services with the same client, making your life a lot easier. So I think that this really kind of starts with like building out that client experience and like providing that wow factor and making it easy for them to get in touch with you, to kind of improve those repeat clients and just improving that experience overall. So it really depends on how you want to run your business, but that's how I like to think about my own process.
Yeah. And my encouragement is just get started. In life and in business, it's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be this super clean and easy process. It's always going to be messy, and that's 100% okay. In fact, it's the mess that makes it makes it beautiful, right? And it makes it really unique to you and your perspective and how you handle clients. And so as AI grows and gets bigger and bigger, like the one thing that AI can't replicate is our own story. And so
Mhm.
you taking those little baby steps with your business, even if it's just a little bit today from what you've learned, man, it can go a long way, especially if you compound a little bitty baby step on a little bitty baby step for a lot of time. So, Brittany, thank you so much for coming in and sharing your wisdom with us. If somebody might want to connect with you, where would they go?
Yeah, the best way to connect with me right now is you can find me on LinkedIn if you want to, or you can send me an email at brittany.barnhart@honeybook.com and ask any of the questions that may come to mind.
Yeah, that's awesome. And if you want to connect with me, also, you can do that right here on the Showit channel. I'm actually keeping my eyes on the Showit YouTube channel, but make sure that you like and subscribe so that you don't miss other things that we've got going on here. So we've got some really great stuff. And Brittany, I hope to do this again. This has been awesome.
Yes.
And I think from the sheer amount of people that have showed up today, like it's something that a lot of people are feeling and would be really beneficial.
Yeah, 100%. Well, thank you so much for having me. I am so excited that we were able to dig into how to combine your website and HoneyBook. So, yeah, it was great being here. So, thank you.
Awesome, everybody. Well, we will see you soon. Have a great rest of your January. Only a few weeks left or a few days left, and excited to see you again whenever we do another live webinar.